Hearing from Duncan there, there's as we suspected, there's a radiator being replaced as well. So looking like a minimum sort of 20-minute stop. Replay of the 91 car, slow motion. Great looking car, new for this year. Last time Porsche brought a new car to Le Mans was 2013, and they won straight away with it. I wonder whether that will happen today. So that pit, very busy down there. 51 getting work on, and the 71 standard pit stop. Let's see if the drivers, I think the driver stayed in. Regon at the wheel. Right, no, we've had a change. Molina into that car, 71 now. As the work continues with the 51 car. On board with the Aston Martin 95 down at Mulsanne corner. Leader, of course, Richie Stanaway, New Zealand driver. Bruno Senna, third place in P2, just come by the commentary box into the pits this lap. There we go, there he is, third in class. Senna looks like he's staying at the wheel, yes. I think this is going to be his last stint in the car. He's been in there a while now. So we've got Duncan in the pits with the AF course team.
Yeah, Peter, this is an extensive job. As Rob Bell says, you know, a silly manoeuvre, and unfortunately James Calado there has taken this car well and truly out the running. The front end is completely pushed back, and they've got the whole team at the front of it. I sent you a little picture, so hopefully you can actually see that. Burst radiator as well. Lots of fluid coming at the bottom of it. And both headlights off. It's not a good look right now, and it's such a shame because the car was running really well, and lots of head thumping, head scratching, and you know that look that you get from mechanics. There's plenty of that look in the garage just now. The look of almost utter dejection from the mechanics in the pit lane.
Can you find out, Duncan, what's happened between that AF Corsa Ferrari and the TF Sport Aston Martin? Why has the damage happened?
Yeah, let me just walk around here and grab James Calado. James, no, he's not into that at all. We'll try and find out at some point, but James not wanting to speak. He looks pretty annoyed with what's going on.
Okay, thank you, Duncan. Thank you. And yeah. Well, as the Neil Yarni Porsche continues to lead this race by essentially 45 minutes or so, give or take. The leading car in LMP2 and second overall is the 38 Jackie Chan Oreca. This is the leading car of Richie Stanaway in the GTE Pro, and the JMW Ferrari continues to lead in GTE AM. We have got 7 hours remaining in this motor race. That is the Rebellion. The Rebellions are chasing to see if they can catch that Jackie Chan Racing number 38 car that leads LMP2. Lollipop Up won't start. Lollipop Up won't start. Waiting.
Come on.
Mechanics urging it on. Won't move. Lights come on, off.
A shake of the head there from PK at the wheel.
The chatter on the radio will be intense. Nothing. Time ticking away. This is the guy that is second in class, third overall.
Well, he's not second in class anymore. Bruno Senna will jump ahead of him, I think. Bruno Senna on track just now on his out lap.
Let's just wait, because Senna's quite a way back in time.
Oh, actually, yeah, he is further back than I thought.
He's a lap back, and in fact, they're putting him in the garage. It won't start. We've had a starter motor problem with the 38 earlier in the race.
Yes,
that's the Jackie Chan car, when Ollie Jarvis was at the wheel.
Yeah.
And now, yeah. And the engine cover will be coming off, or they're taking the engine cover coming off. Get the tail off.
Just as you start to see the daylight, you see a new day, you think, oh, okay, we're almost there, we're almost there. Well, actually, you're 7 hours away from being there. And there's a long way to go.
Yes, we all can get lulled into that false sense of security of breakfast. We're there. No, we're not. Now, there is Senna. He is 4th overall, 3rd in class in LMP2. Needs to make up a lap. So another 4 minutes. And he's in the pound seat, so if that Piquet Jr. car sits in the garage for more than that kind of time, they're struggling with the tail. They were struggling to get that tail on last night. Do you remember when they were stickering it up?
Yes, they had to change.
It wouldn't get into position. Right. They're happy with it now.
Yeah, of course, that had a new rear because the light had failed on the left-hand side. It had to be called in. Well, actually, it was a standard pit stop, but they lost time during the pit stop, about a minute. Okay, it's fired now. He's off. So Senna still, because he's that extra lap behind, will not move up into second. Piquet retains his... No, he doesn't. It's... Yeah, they changed driver, yes. So Heinemeyer Hansen is now in the car. So they used that time. They got Piquet out of the car. He'd obviously finished his stint anyway.
I was out of the box, Peter. What happened between the TF Sport Aston Martin and Calado's 51 Ferrari?
So we had an interview from Rob Bell. Oh, cool. Oh, I think we've got James Calado to speak to us.
Duncan, go for it.
James, your face tells the story. An incident with the TF Sport number 90 car that Rob Bell was behind the wheel, but talk us from your driver's seat, what happened?
I made a mistake, pure and simple. I braked too late, and you know, he braked early as well. But you know, it should have been I should have been more aware, and I locked everything up and just couldn't avoid him and hit him in the back and hit the barrier. But you know, just rookie error.
Okay, mate. Unlucky.
Well, that's it's refreshing in today's day and age to hear the driver put his hands up like that and say it was my fault. I think too many times you get the driver saying, no, it was him, it was him. In this instance, James has put his hands up. I'm sure he'll go to Rob and apologise. And you know, Rob is an honest guy, he's a nice guy. He'll take that apology and he'll just get on with his race. These things happen, it's motor racing. It's a 24-hour race. We've gone through the night, drivers are tired, everyone's tired. So mistakes happen. On board with the number 1 leading Porsche. In the slow zone, you can see that in the top left, he's in the slow zone 80 km/h. I think that slow zone is there because they're repairing a barrier, and it sounded as though James Calado made the damage to that barrier. He intimated that he'd hit the barrier, so he hit Rob and then he hit the barrier. And that's why the damage is so big on his car. So Rob said he lost a lap but James has lost a lot more than a lap because he actually hit the barrier and they're having to repair it.
What's the latest going on down there, Duncan, with that AF Corsa Ferrari? What?
Yeah, Toby, they're taking the entire front end, which is a big carbon fibre housed area. The radiator and everything is involved in that now. I can now see the bulkhead of that car. I'm going to take a quick picture of it and send it up to you guys upstairs. Huge repair here. And yeah, James Calado's face and tone said it all there. But as Peter says, very refreshing to hear drivers say, I made a mistake.
Oh yeah, I mean it takes a man to man up, doesn't it, and admit their mistake. But mistakes do happen, and James sounds totally dejected. You know, it's not just this race; it's a year's worth of effort and a year's worth of work, and then a 0.5%, a 0.1% of a mistake, and that problem then manifests itself. Alan McNish. Good morning. Good morning to you. We've had a bit of drama, haven't we, since we last saw you. We've had these Toyotas have their clutch problem and then the puncture that then put the number 9 out. Well, you couldn't make it up. What drama?
Well, I thought 2016, when they were looking as if they were sailing to a victory and stopped effectively in the last lap of a 24-hour race, was drama enough. They came here, 3 cars, complete effort, including Toyoda-san himself, the president of the company, arriving to support his guys, and to be in a situation where they had clearly the fastest car, Kobayashi an incredible pole position, and just the wheels to fall off the wagon in such a way, and also for the 2 cars that you're talking about to go out of this race within, what, maybe 20 minutes of each other. And I was having text messages with Alex Wirtz, and when the first car went out, you know, okay, over text you could feel, you know, the shoulders sag a little bit, and then the next car coming straight out, it was disbelief, complete and utter disbelief by them that something like this could happen. And also for, you know, if you look at the LMP1 field, there is absolutely no way that Timo Bernhard, Earl Bamber and Brendan Hartley, when they had their problem very early on in the race and had to change the electric motor in the front of the car, that they ever thought they could be on the podium. But with the way that this Le Mans race is, there's a decent chance they could actually finish on the podium.
They're on 250 laps. The podium is only 5 laps away.
Yep, that's possible within 7 hours with the pace difference that they're doing. Because if we give you the pace difference, okay, we're in a slow zone section at the moment, so it distorts quite heavily. But the pace difference is about 8 or 9 seconds a lap.
Now, we saw about an hour ago, Peter and I commentating on a huge battle between the number 92 Porsche of... Number 92, number 91, hang on a minute, let me get my ducks in a row. Number 91 Porsche with Patrick Pilet at the wheel. Duncan, you've got Patrick, what's he got to say?
I have got Patrick Pilet here, who on the last pit stop he handed over to Frank Macavecchi. And Patrick, we saw you in a brilliant battle out there. It was a bare knuckle fist fight from what we saw. Big smile on your face from that?
I mean, I have to give everything, actually. We miss a bit of top speed, so we have to take the opportunity when it's coming. Sometimes it's a bit scary because in the really quick corners, like Indy or in the Porsche curves, but anyway, it is like it is. We cannot change anything. We just have to give the maximum and keep pushing like now. We have the chance to have a really consistent car with no real drop on the tires, so keep going like this.
Peter Dumbrek calls you a tiger of a driver.
That's nice. I think we have some fight as well, especially on the north side sometimes, but I mean, you have to be a tiger, you know, because if you look at the rocket from the Aston Martin in the straights, you have to compensate somewhere. So yeah, I think my teammate and myself and all the team, we just give the maximum and see what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, he says that the Aston Martin's a bit of a rocket in a straight line, but the Porsche got ahead of the Ford in a straight line, didn't it, Peter, when we were watching it about an hour ago? But let's see what happens with Richie Stanaway, who's 68 seconds up the road ahead of the Chevy of Jordan Taylor.
We did see that move into Indianapolis, so he passed him around the outside, Alan, outside into the left-hander and got the inside for the left-hander. That was a pretty bold move.
A very bold move, but it certainly also required quite a lot of acceptance by the car being overtaken. I remember
it did.
Jean-Marc Gounod, a teammate of yours in 1999, and I having a little bit of a discussion about that same area of space, and yeah, he didn't make it around the outside. It's an interesting factor because the Aston's been very, very strong all weekend, but it really has came good in the race. It's had a little bit of extra pace as an average all the way through, and just sort of slowly extended its gap out. And now it's in a nice position there, to be honest with you, Peter, because I think it's able to control the pace, and everybody's got to take the risk to catch up.
Yeah, you're right. They've had a good run so far with that 95 car. The 97 is gradually bringing itself back up as well. It's had a little issue, but everyone is still in the fight there, it seems. It's so close. Yeah,
it's, you know, when you still look at it, they are pretty close because you've got the 97, as you say, with Johnny Adam there in third place and only 8 seconds behind Machiavecchi in the Porsche, and then Tinknell is 16 seconds behind that. So, you know, it's still quite close.
They can't afford to do a Collado. You know, they can't afford to have an incident like that because it would just take them out of the running completely. So do we have Duncan in the pits with Toyota?
We've got Duncan down there in the pits. I'm not sure if he's actually there already, but I think he's been speaking to Rob Luypen, who is the head of Toyota. Duncan, are you down there?
Yes, I'm here with Rob Luypen in the Toyota pit. Rob, can you please give us an update of what happened to both Toyotas in the night, please?
Well, on car number 7, we had a clutch problem, we think. After the safety car, we had a problem to restart the car. And we think it's in the clutch area. Then it was, we tried everything to come back to the pits. He didn't make it, so we had to retire that car. During the safety car phase, we have had an issue with a contact between car number 9 and an LMP2. Car number 9 did overtook the car, and then, yeah, maybe with a fuel lift off at, I would say, at first sector, he was hit, the car number 9 was hit in the back, and yeah, then the crash came. Tried to come back, but due to the problems on the tires, which who exploded, and some hydraulic problems caused by this, yeah, end of the race for car number 9.
And how are things sitting right now with your sole remaining car, number 8?
Of course, I think it's 15th position at the present moment. 29 laps back to car number 1, 11 laps back to car number 2. The lap times are good. The car is quick. It has a new front motor, has a new battery, so it works well. Well, of course, try to get it to the top 10. Sepp is pushing, and definitely also Anthony and Kazuki will push for it. But yeah, we try to see if we can make it to the top 10.
Rob, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Duncan.
Yeah, it's Rob Luypen there explaining. Sorry about the crossover of communication with the radio from the Rebellion there for a second. But one thing that Luypen did say when there was the collision with the car number 9 and Trummer coming out of the pits was that he had just lifted off to recuperate the hybrid energy at that point. And so therefore there would be a difference in speed and a deceleration in speed in reality. So initially the feeling was that maybe Trummer came across a little bit, but in reality this sounds a little bit more like there was just a miscommunication between the two cars.
Johnny Adam out of the pits.
So we got a message, an onboard message from Bruno Senna during that as well, and his team were telling him that the car 35, who's close behind him, is a fight for position and basically trying to get him revved up a bit. Come on, son, push on. If you're going to win this motor race, we've got to give everything.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty tight for them to do that. Negrão is in that Alpine behind, and you're right, 4.7 seconds is the gap between the two of them right now. Corvette Ford up over the top of the hill into the Mulsanne corner. Oliver Gavin there in the leading Corvette. That's in it, I think. You know, the Fords, you know, they were strong at the beginning of the race, but they've just kind of dropped off a little bit in terms of pure performance. Okay, they've had their troubles through the night as well.
Well, we had an interview with Harry Tinknell a little bit earlier on, and he was talking a little bit about the BOP and that they've had it turned down a bit for this particular race after the first two. So he wasn't negative, but he wasn't super positive. Oh, well, we're going to go and win this. But my thoughts are, you know, anything can happen. They're definitely still in the fight. Currently fourth in position in GT Pro. He's still 6 hours and 39 minutes to go of this race, which is more than a normal WEC World Championship race. So it's more than a normal race that they do. So a lot can happen in that time, and I think Ford are definitely still in the mix. Aston, yes, at the moment it does seem that they have the legs on everyone, but we've seen how quickly that changes. Pretty much all of those cars in various times have had their little incidents. It's all about how big an incident you have. And we know Collado now has had a massive incident, still in the pits. That car's being rebuilt, the 51 car, so effectively it's put it out of the, well, it's maybe not put it out of the race completely, but it's not going to get a result.
Whereabouts did that accident happen? Because that was when I was just coming in and didn't hear anything about it, apart from when you guys said that the Collado had an accident.
We know that the barrier was being repaired somewhere, and it was as a consequence of that. Somewhere on the track they were repairing a barrier.
I think that's been the order of the day a wee bit so far, somewhere on the track. And then in the AM, it's Van Tour that is leading. Dries Van Tour, brother of Laurens Van Tour, who is a Porsche driver in the Blancpain Championship and various other things. And Laurens is here.
He's here as well. He's in a P2 car,
yep.
I think.
He's, well, I think that family kind of is a bit passionate about racing, shall we say.
Yes, very fast driver, former Audi driver, of course. Won multiple races. I think won Spa 24 with Audi in the R8, and became a Porsche factory driver this year.
Yep. He switched camps to the other side as the 38 car comes into the pits, Toby.
That is the leader of the LMP2 class, Thomas Laurent. He leads ahead of Dominic Hannemer Hansen. So it's 38 ahead of 13, ahead of Bruno Senna. Got about a lap lead, has Laurent, in this car, ahead of his major rivals. Extra bit of water going in, cleaning the screen, checking the discs, making sure that everything is okay as the fuel is going in that car. There you have that battle for 9th position overall. Sorry, 9th position in GTE AM class. That is Matthias Lauda, the Austrian, battling with Ewan Hankey. Two teammates, but different colours, of course. The green of Aston Martin and the blue of the TF Sport car, the Kent-based car in the UK.
You know, I'm just thinking about how this race is going to progress. And of course, we've had the cool condition of the night time. It's now starting to get warm again. Sun's out. There's no cloud in the sky, so no coverage at all. So that the track is just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter now. Track temperature will rise. It will be probably into the 50s. By the forecast I looked at, this was going to be the hottest day of the week. So we might see some issues with cars in reliability as the race goes on. Drivers getting really hot. Teams getting ready now for a pit stop there, and Aston Martin also getting hot. Oh, what's that? A lock up.
Lock up.
Who is that?
That is Richie Stanaway, second in class.
No.
Second in class, and he's got away with it.
Oh, he has.
How do you get away with that? That is so lucky to go into the gravel at Mulsanne. Did he hit the barrier? Yes, he did.
Hit the barrier, bounced back out, got traction and was able to drive away from that. So
you couldn't make that up.
So they are scrambling in their box.
And that was an outlap for Richie, Peter. That was an outlap. So he got caught out. Is it damaged? Has he damaged the splitter? Surely yes, he's damaged the splitter that's so important.
It depends how much flexibility there was in that tyre wall. The fact that there was tyres there, it's a well-known place to go off. So there's tyres in front of the barrier. You can see his nose is damaged, so he will pit that front left wing.
So potential podium man in class.
Yeah, the race just gets more and more wacky. So all of a sudden, that's handed Jordan Taylor the lead of this race in the Chevy 63. So I'm just going to look at our board up here. I just want to look at... we saw the 64
Here we go, on board, Peter, on board.
Okay.
Just so quick.
He just didn't slow down. Gosh, in he goes, bounced out, select first gear, drive away.
Wow. So it was on an outlap, it was leading the class, and it's back in the pits, a lap on. They're going to put a little bit of fuel in it.
Let's see.
That won't take long.
Okay, so his splitter looks intact. That is a good sign.
Because that's pretty solid, isn't it?
So they'll push it back, they'll pull off the cover, engine cover.
Duncan, are you down there?
Standing right in front of it, Toby. Front left wing is going to be taken off and replaced. Splitter is intact. It doesn't look like anything behind the bumper or the bonnet is broken. No water, no steam, nothing like that that's going to set alarm bells ringing. We are looking like we might be having a driver change, which might happen as well. But there we go. The wing is already off. Quick release wing. It was half taken off in the incident. But yeah, bit of a disaster. You're right, Toby. That was an outlap, so not the best.
Now the ProDrive boys, they know about thrashing and getting a rally car sorted out in service in the middle of Kenya or Thousand Lakes in Finland or Rally San Remo if it was tarmac, but you can't afford any time at all in the garage.
No, we were saying not long ago how close this race in GT Pro is.
And the underskin, the inside of the wheel arch needs to be replaced. Oh, so there is. Yeah, that's appearing. And here we have it again.
We're going to see a lock-up. So the car's locked up. He's locked up. He just can't get it turned. He's carried too much speed in.
Nearly got the car sideways, Peter, to dissipate the energy along the side of the vehicle, but he just went in front corner.
It's an awful feeling when you're powerless to stop and you know you're not going to stop and you're going to hit the wall and you're just hoping it's going to be a small one. It could have been a lot worse. He could have got himself well and truly wedged in there. You got a good view of the back of the car, so he's got damage on the left rear as well from a previous incident. So we've got the two Corvettes running nose to tail. Not for position, no, 63 is the leader of the race in GT Pro. And the other car is well down. I think if you remember, we had a big issue with Tommy Milner, who crashed sometime last night.
Had a puncture, went off at Porsche, yes. Spun on the way into the pits.
You're right,
lost
reached
massive
himself.
Time.
Exactly.
In the 64.
So, yes, he had a tyre blowout. He went in the wall.
Oh, they got the vacuum in here.
Trying to get
They've got the Henry
out.
vacuum
yes.
to get all the gravel out so that it doesn't pop the belts on the engine. Things like that.
All hands to the deck here. Some glum faces now in the Aston Martin pit. That gentleman on the right, Jan, is the actual owner of that car. So all Aston Martin race cars are sold, pre-sold, before they race. So the owner is here watching his car race and he's just seen it go in the wall. Yes, That is Jan Strubel. My pronunciation of his surname is not that good.
Now let's catch up with what the race director has got to say. Is he going to tell us something about the Porsche curves?
We're putting slippery track. Entering the Porsche S's, we've got a lot of gravel on track. We've got a lot of gravel on track. Be advised, a lot of gravel on track on zone 30.
So a lot of that gravel probably has come from Richie Stanaway as he surfed his way through the gravel down at Mulsanne corner. He would have brought a lot of it back on with his car, and as he hits the brakes, it all falls out the front of the car, accelerates, it all falls out the back. I think they're going to change driver. Duncan, are you down in the pits? Do you want to have a little word?
Yeah, Nicky Tim's got in the car, Richie's got out, walked away from the car. You can tell the dejection he had. The visor stayed down, just slithered away through to the back of the garage. All the concentration now on the front of the car and the side of the car. I thought they would have just killed two birds with one stone here, guys, and replaced the back bumper, because there's a lot of gaffer tape holding that on, and it now looks like the team are kind of concerned on that corner. That would be the back left.
Might not be enough boys available to do it. Or can they draft some guys over from the other side of the garage,
yeah,
maybe?
Toby, I've never seen so many cable ties, duct tapes, and like you said, Henry Hoover out there taking all the gravel out, but it's a full-on assault of this car here.
Thank you, Duncan.
So, yeah, let's say they aren't out the running yet, but it has made it a little bit more difficult for Aston Martin Racing. Jordan Taylor takes over the lead of the race in the 63 Corvette. We haven't seen the Corvette in the lead much, so it's gradually finding its way forward. I think when it stops, we'll find Fred Makovici in the Porsche 91 will take the lead over from that car, and it's also moved Harry Tinknell up to a podium position with a 67 Ford, so he's now third in GT Pro. Another view of that Aston Martin 95 car in the pits. Lots of work happening, frantic work, trying to get it back on track as quick as possible. And bear in mind, they're in about that engine. It will be roasting hot in there.
You can see the belts, the cam belts, that they're trying to save by hoovering out the gravel. That's my take on it.
Right, the one thing that is now a certainty is that car has to drive flat out, take all the risks, do everything it can to get back in position. It's got 6.5 hours just under, and if they were doing a little bit of cruising before, if they were just taking it easy, obviously Richie Stanaway probably wasn't because he was pushing deep, but yes, there will be no security now. It's maximum attack. So the gap between the Chevy Jordan Taylor and Harry Tinknell is about 32 seconds. So that is not very much considering we're so far into a 24-hour race. As I said, 6 hours, 26 minutes left. For me, GT Pro is the race within the race. It is the big one in this race. It's so great to see these cars going flat out and taking it to each other, and so many different manufacturers. You know, we're not getting lumbered with just the same brand up front and them swapping. No, it's everyone is having their fair turn up the front, and as something happens to the leader, then someone else gets back into the lead of the race. And yeah, a long way to go. Now Aston Martin have to focus also on 97, because that now becomes the leading Aston Martin car in the race, and that car is in 4th place. So all to play for still. All manufacturers, in fact. So we got Chevy, Porsche, Ford, Aston and Ferrari all up there, all within reach of winning this GT Pro race. So we're looking at 2 Aston Martins running there. The 90, we know that was Rob Bell's car. He's not currently in the car right now, but that was a car that was collected by James Calado in the Ferrari about half an hour ago. Cost them a lap and I think put them down the running a bit. Ewan Hankey at the wheel of that number 90 Aston Martin now. Harry Tinknell, looking at him on the 67, on board with him on the Ford.
Third position for him, as Peter says, just 32 seconds covering the top 3 in the GTE Pro category. It's Chevy, from Porsche, from Ford, from Aston Martin.
So the Harry Tinknell car, Andy Prio, we had a little interview with him earlier on. He drove the sunset and he drove the sunrise in different stints, obviously. So Harry Tinknell in the car now. I think he's in for 3 stints, so a triple stint for him. On one, would it be 1 set of tyres? I'm not sure. And actually, I'm probably not, because gradually the track's going to get hotter and hotter, and we know they were on the soft tyre through the night and into the morning stint. So I guess they're going to be going on to the medium tyre now to be able to cope with that heat. Just check my weather forecast on my phone, but I suspect it's already into the 20-odd degrees here. It's 23. Yeah,
it's 23 degrees already.
It's 23 degrees now in Le Mans.
It's 8:30 in the morning.
So they are focusing on, by the time this race ends, we're going to be up at 32 degrees.
And Duncan, it's warm down there in the garages, isn't it? It's warm down there in pit lane.
It's, yeah, Toby, it's I'm not used to this. I'm a boy who comes from the sticks in Scotland, so this is all very new to me. 23 degrees at 8:30. I could get used to it, though.
I guess you've not got your flip-flops and shorts on down there. So I guess you just need to get on with it and have a nice cold drink when you get off.
That's, sorry to interrupt, Peter, that's the class leader of GTE Pro, Jordan Taylor, at the helm of that Corvette. They're not taking the tires off, but they're just altering the pressures, maybe letting just a little bit of air out. Fuel going in. Screen is clean. And when that car gets back out, it needs to be chasing this car, which has got Frank McAveeky at the wheel at the moment. So he now leads the GTE Pro class. McAveeky, Tinknell have done 18 pit stops. Jordan Taylor has done 19. So Taylor's ahead on the pit stop rotation factor.
You know, Jordan Taylor's having a pretty good year. He won Daytona, he won Sebring. He's up there fighting for victory here. Oh, we've seen it. I just saw car 27 on the way into the pits go sailing right across the gravel. That's the SMP Racing 27 P2 car. He's well down in 35, 35th position though. So yeah, Jordan Taylor's having a good one. I don't want to tempt fate or anything, I'm knocking on wood for him, but I believe he's in the lead of the American Championship in his P2 car over there as well. Drives for Chevy out there.
Good news coming from the paddock, though, Peter, that Manu Collard has been released from hospital with some bruising after that off that he had on the exit of the Porsche curves, driving his LMP2 car. It was a big off at 5:45 this morning.
Yeah, we just about come back on air onto our stint here in the commentary box, and we just caught it on the television, didn't we? It looked like a very odd crash. Maybe if, I don't know whether he's going to come back to the track and if he wants to chat about it, but Duncan, if you ever catch sight of Emmanuel Collard, I'd love to hear about what happened there.
Now, I did say when we were watching the accident, Peter, that I thought that the G loading light had come on. I've had that confirmed, so it was more than a 25G deceleration when he hit the barrier.
Which is why he was taken for medical checks. Standard procedure now. You don't get to have a massive shunt nowadays and just walk away. You've got to, you've got to be a bit more safety conscious with the drivers. So 91 sounds great. Down into the Porsche curves, through the right-hander, small lift, back on the throttle, hard on the throttle through there. Lovely looking car, the Porsche.
I also think that the purity of the livery that they've introduced for 2017 from the Porsche LMP1 side of things and the GT class is just fantastic. Just fantastic.
So
what's it like when you turn up into a paddock, Peter, and there's a brand new state-of-the-art car and it's yours? You must just think, I've got the best job in the world.
It doesn't work like that.
Come on.
I think standing from the outside, I hear that all the time. But personally, I'm there to do a job. It is just a job. It's a pretty cool job, but and sometimes you do need to take a step back and realize what you actually get to do to earn money. And having had a 20-odd year career, I've driven some fantastic cars, but it's only really afterwards, thinking back to those cars, that I think, actually, that was mega, wasn't it? And even now, I get to drive a brand new BMW M6 GT3 car around the Nürburgring Nordschleife, around arguably the most difficult and best race circuit. I know we're at Le Mans, but it's the longest race circuit in the world. It's the most difficult to drive. It's the hardest on the car and the driver. And I get to drive there, and it's like, actually, that's pretty cool. But, I don't, when I'm at the track, I don't give myself time to think about, I'm just so focused on the job, basically. And everyone here is thinking about, right, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to give it my best, I'm going to do the best stint I can possibly do, and I'm going to hand the car over to my teammate in the best state that it can be in, and wait. And that's the next thing. That's the thing that you don't hear about much in endurance racing. It's the waiting. You've had to wait all week till the race started. Okay, you get to do a bit of driving here and there, but essentially you don't actually do all that much driving. And then all of a sudden, you're driving, hopefully, for 24 hours. You've got your stints planned out for you. You're in the car for a long period of time, and you've got to concentrate for that. And in between getting out of the car to starting your next stint in the car, you've got a period of waiting, and you might catnap, you might be able to properly have a sleep for 2 hours, but you've got to rehydrate yourself. You've got to have a massage probably. You've got to make sure you've got some food in your belly, and you've got to plan your time effectively, and then you just got to wait and wait and wait, and then get ready to go at the drop of a hat, and within a few seconds, you're back up to 180, 190 mile an hour on the back straight from being sat in the garage just waiting. So it's an odd feeling.
That is Joey Hand's Ford unlapping itself with the Corvette. That's a lap down. So that's not for position, that number 69. Nicky Team in the number 90, sorry, it's not, it'll be Johnny Adam in the number 97. British GT winner. And really adapting so well to the international stage is Johnny Adam.
Well, he's had a long, gradual introduction to it. Of course, British GT champion.
Whoa, replay.
Okay, that's a 71 car. So that is the car we missed it. Oh no, 71. Where's that is Molina. So actually, he's where is he? Fifth position. So they've got those tyre bales, if you like, in the way to stop you straight lining at high speed. He shouldn't get any problem with that. It will have cost him time, but it's safer to run straight on than to lock the tyre and try to make it through the chicane and find that you don't and you have to take to the gravel.
Well, as he navigates his way through that middle chicane, back here in the pits, we've got Duncan down there, and he's got Alex Brundle, fresh out of the car.
Fresh out the LMP2, number 37, Jackie Chan, DC racing car. Alex, good stint for you there. You got out, you had a spring in your step when you left the car.
Yeah, the car's pretty decent this morning. We're having to protect the front tyre a lot though. We're making progress slowly. We had a bit of a setback yesterday, and now we're moving back through the field, which is good.
The sun's come up. How's the track conditions?
Yeah, happy hour. Nice to get the happy hour stint, and good to do some nice fast times. It's still a little bit slippery out there though, so we'll keep on progressing, I suspect, as the afternoon carries on.
What does your dad think of you been back at Le Mans? You know, is he happy?
I don't think he's happy. I think he's jealous. To be honest, at least he keeps telling me so. But I don't know if he's up yet. I hope the poor old boy got some sleep.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, obviously. Another question. Today is forecast to be the hottest day of the week. Now, bearing in mind we've still got a long stint of this race to go, what are your preparations going to be like?
That's why our man Pete's standing beside me right now looking anxious, because he's going to throw a load of cold stuff on me very, very shortly.
Yeah, sorry, Pete. I'll let you get going. He's trying to drag you away from me. Good luck.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
He needs to go and steal Harry Tinknell's paddling pool out the back, doesn't he? Duncan. He's going to have to cool the whole core temperature down.
I agree with that. Toby, it's starting to get really warm, and you have to bear in mind, I'm standing in pit lane in the shade.
Yes.
The people in the grandstands across there are in the sun, and the temperature is rising rapidly. It's going to be a hot one.
I mean, as I pointed out a moment ago, Duncan, you look at the grass on the way down the hill from the Dunlop Bridge. It's not green, it's brown, it's gone.
Yeah, it's brown, and there'll be a lot of black marks leading onto that brown after some of the stuff we saw. I did see a replay you were showing earlier on of the 71 AF course car, so things going a little bit wrong for AF course. The 51 cars obviously out of it with that big repair, and now the 71 car, obviously that was another AF course car which was right up at the front of the sharp end of the GTE Pro class, and they missed a chicane. So the problem with missing a chicane, Toby, is you're fully aware of. You can pick up debris in your tyres. You could very, very easily pick up a puncture, and then that's going to put you back in the pits, losing more time.
Yeah, I saw a note from race control, and it said, there's lots of sharp stones on the track. Well, don't put sharp stones in the gravel trap, was my initial thing. Put round ones in that are less susceptible to give these guys a puncture. But there's bits of carbon fibre. I mean, we saw that big front tire blow up from Pedro Lamy late last night. That was terrifying. But
well, if there's sharp stones on the track, Toby, that's the driver's fault. The sharp stones are on the track. You know, the organisers haven't put them there. The drivers have got them from the gravel out there. As a Larbour competition car comes past me, that's the very lovely livery, the art alive livery on that car. As the team go to work on that. The windscreens, Toby, you picked up on it yesterday, last night. The amount of bugs in the air, a lot of them have pulled a lot of their tear-offs off, but see the amount of rubbing and scrubbing they're having to do to these windscreens to try and make them clear for the vision, because as you know, when you're looking into the sun, if you've got bugs, it's not going to be easy for these guys to see. So that's the Larbour competition, the GTE AM car in pit lane.
Okay, thank you, Duncan. And we got a problem with the Aston Martin 95. He's going slow. The Aston is going really slow.
So that has to be as a consequence of that contact that Richie Stanaway made with the wall. We know it's just been fixed. I would think it's something to do with that.
Nicky Thiem at the helm at the moment, and this is painful for the car that was knocking on the door of getting not only on the podium but winning this class. Oh, look at the rubber that came off one of those cars. Okay, let's have a catch-up with what's going on with Nico Prost.
Okay, Nico, we are now P4 thanks to the pit stop game, so we are only P4. The gap is 24 seconds to Negrao in the 35 Alpine. You need to push the maximum you can to try to get that gap down. Push as hard as you can to get the gap down.
Push the maximum you can. Push, push, push.
So they're not...
As if they're not pushing already.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's no running easy like Nick Tandy up in the lead, who's just lapping around a good 2-3 seconds off what he possibly could do. Those P2 guys are in it for trying to win it, really. Nico Prost at the wheel of the 31 car, getting information from his pits to absolutely keep it lit, son. So his sister car in second place still, the Rebellion of 13, as the Aston Martin 95 comes into the pits. An unscheduled stop.
Limping as well, though, that's the point.
We know they had problems with that car after Richie Stanaway collected the wall down at Mulsanne Corner. They've had some repairs on the front end. They got it out reasonably quickly.
They did do well, but...
As we get back on board, we can see now the fight between Johnny Adam and Jordan Taylor.
Right, Duncan, you're probably down there at Aston Martin. It's coming in towards you. I can hear the brakes squeal.
Rolls right past me. As normally though, Toby, fuel in. No matter what happens, he will put the fuel in. The trolleys are out with the dollies to get this car back into the garage. So there's a bit of a media scrum down here, as you could imagine, because this could be the curse of Dumbrek, actually, because he was concerned about this car earlier on. The car's wheeled around and it's pushed back into the garage. Lots of duct tape, lots of gaffer tape and tie wrap still holding that together. As of yet, no word from the team about what the problem is.
Oh, look at the slow-mo on the edge of the curb. Look at that. Oh, I love super slow-mos. That is just brilliant. You can't see that with the naked eye as it bounces back onto the serrated curb on the exit of Indianapolis through the left-hander. Superb stuff. Classic, classic Le Mans with the sunshine in the background.
So we are looking at the 63 and the 97, Chevy and Aston Martin. And we have Jordan Taylor and Johnny Adam at the wheels of those two cars. In behind the Ford in front, which is not for position. So this is second and third in the race. The Aston Martin 97 led before midnight and had some issues during the night and has gradually fought its way back up. Potential podium place, and now the front-running Aston Martin 95 car, having had its issues recently with Richie Stanaway and now Nicky Thiem at the wheel.
Don't forget, Fred Mekavicki leads the GTE Pro class in that number 91 Porsche 911 RSR.
Yep, a great stint from Patrick Pilet, handed over to Fred Mekavicki. They're just doing their stuff, fighting it out, trying to keep out of trouble. Decent little lead for them at the moment. Looks like about a 1 minute 21 lead for Mekavicki.
Now then, the ProDrive Aston Martin guys have got that number 95 Aston into the garage. What's the news, Duncan?
Yeah, what I can see is they have got what I would class as at the end of the steering rack, the drumstick, off from the right-hand side, and it looks like they're adjusting the left-hand side as well. You would then screw in the tractor end, so to speak, into that and give it a bit of steering movement. So one lying on the floor, another one on the front right, seeming a bit more temperamental to come off. I think you guys are possibly watching the world feed. There's a scrum of bodies around that. The front left already off, the front right still coming off. It come in steering okay, Toby, but there's obviously some failure along the way.
Yeah, well, it was going so slowly when we caught up with the onboard as it was going down to Indianapolis. Change of position, though, that we were looking at, Duncan, on track, because the number 97 Aston Martin of Johnny Adam has just got ahead of Jordan Taylor. So Johnny is 12, 15 minute back, 62 seconds back of the class leader. That is the Porsche GT 911 RSR of Fred Makovici, the number 91. 60 seconds, those two have got to make up to catch the leader and in the class. And the leader, having said that, is on 18 pit stops. Johnny Adams' Aston on 17, and Jordan Taylor's Chevrolet Corvette on 19. Classic Le Mans. Classic Le Mans. Underneath the camera on the Mulsanne straight. Rubber marks all over the fronts of that yellow Corvette.
So that is the 69 Ford they're catching. It's not for position. That is Scott Dixon, who is a lap down on them. So they are potentially going to put another lap on Scott Dixon in that Ford.
Christina Nielsen about to get into her Ferrari. I saw her dad John walking around the paddock a couple of days ago. John Nielsen winning with the Silk Cut Jaguar here back in 1990. So Christina, the only girl driving here this year. Did you see, by the way, on the digital chitter chatter, Billy Monger's here this weekend. Billy, who had that terrible crash at Donington in a Formula 4 race 3-4 months ago now. But he's here, he's in good spirits, and he was with Frederic Sauce around the paddock and the garages. Maybe they'll drive together one day.
Well, I think that is the plan. I think it's been announced even.
Oh right, that had bypassed me. Maybe I was away.
I think the plan was something like 2020 or 2019 that they will come form a team and race here at Le Mans.
So then, this should be Fred Makovici. That was a 62-second lead over the Aston Martin of Johnny Adam and the Jordan Taylor Chevy. They need nothing to go wrong to keep this lead. Oh look, they're taking photographs of the disc to then refer it back to the engineer, who's maybe not allowed to come into the pit lane. Remember that Adrian Newey did this to a Vettel car at Sao Paulo because it got damaged on the first lap.
Well, the engineer will be standing on the pit wall. He'll be in that gantry on the pit wall or sitting. He won't be standing.
But he won't be able to get so close, though.
That's right, yeah. Everyone's got their job. Everyone's got their position. So, yes, he's getting reports all the time back to him. So
OK, they go out of the garage, Fred Makovici.
This is going to be incredibly
then it's second and third.
This is going to be incredibly close.
There he goes, there he goes, there he goes, there he goes. Here we go, here we go, here we go. The Aston leads. The Chevy takes second place. Yes. This race is going to go to the last corner, isn't it? In GTE Pro.
It's going to go to the last stop, that's for sure. The last pit stop's going to govern who's who, and because that's the thing, we don't quite know at the moment because of various, you know, they've all had the little issues where they've had to stop a little bit early. It's put them out of sync. So the Aston Martin, I think, I mean, I haven't been taking account, but I think it's probably due in fairly soon.
The Aston Martin. That was a lap ago when it took second.
That's right, that's a replay of a lap
ago.
ago.
That's old news, that. So there's third.
Interestingly, the Corvette is still right up behind him. So I thought Johnny, it looked like for a second he was going to stretch his legs and pull away, but Jordan Taylor has responded and been able to keep that gap tight. We've got the Porsche now of Fred Makovici still at the wheel. He's in third position. He's done his stop, so the other two cars, he will, if it stays as it is, retake that lead again once the other two cars have to stop. So we heard from Duncan in the pits, confirmation of the 95 car, a steering arm problem. Hopefully they can get that changed quickly and get back out again.
Well, we may have lost the thrill of the battle for the outright victory of the Le Mans 24 Hours with the the demise of the Toyotas and the demise of one of the Porsches, but boy, oh boy, we've got TV time on these GTE Pro cars now, haven't we? As you can see the flex in the tyre wall of the front right tyre of the Corvette. Inch perfect. Doesn't quite go over the curb on the exit of Indianapolis, but absolutely on it. That is driving skill.
Fred Makiewicz now has the two leaders of class in his sight, so they're running 1, 2, 3 on the road with just 6 hours left of a 24-hour race.
Just in inverted commas. Johnny Adam, you're leading Le Mans, but you've got second place right on your tail. This is England versus the USA, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure he doesn't really want to have Scott Dixon in front of him either, because as he catches up to Scott Dixon, if Dixon doesn't let him through as the number 8 Toyota goes by all of them, Anthony Davison now at the wheel of that car, but as Johnny Adam catches up to that Ford who he's lapping, it's not for position, it's then going to bring the Corvette closer, and if Dixon doesn't let him by, which I'm not sure he has to. I guess he doesn't have to.
Well, he's been waved a blue flag, though, won't he?
He should do,
it's
yeah.
no different if you're in class
but
or not in class.
I'm not seeing any blue flags.